What's the process to determine whether one's an enemy combatant under our law?
Well, I believe that the executive branch makes an assessment of whether or not someone is taking up arms against the United States somewhere in the world related to all of this.
Okay, so it's an executive branch function to determine whether or not this person qualifies as an enemy combatant.
Well, I believe that they make a
Under current law.
Under current law, I believe that determination is made by the executive branch, and the person is detained, and then the question becomes whether they are able to bring some sort of legal challenge to that determination.
They have a habeas right.
Yes.
Okay, so the law is that the executive branch determines if you're an enemy combatant, and under our law, you can appeal that decision to a federal court through habeas. Is that correct?
I believe that's correct.
Okay. Is it your view that we can hold enemy combatants as long as they're a threat to the United States?
I believe that's what the Supreme Court has determined.
Okay. Did you argue that that should not be the case before in an amicus brief?
I'm trying to think. I had 2 amicus briefs that I worked on, or 3 technically, but 2 different cases.
Well, we'll have another visit tomorrow. So
yes.
Go back and check.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that in your brief you argued that the executive branch should not have the ability to hold an enemy combatant indefinitely. You need to try them through some process or release them.
Yes, Senator. As you were talking, my clients, the Cato Institute, the Rutherford Institute, and the Constitution Project, made that argument and asked me to draft their brief.
Yes. Well, do you agree with that argument?
Senator, my responsibility was to make my clients' arguments, and as a nominee to the Supreme Court, that's the kind of issue. The Supreme Court did not address that issue. They, in fact, the case became moot.
Did you organize an effort to get 20 judges to file a brief to the Supreme Court on this issue?
Not on that issue, no, Senator.
On another issue?
Yes, Senator.
Okay. Did you actively go out and recruit 20 judges to help you file a brief on another issue regarding law of war detention?
Not technically.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean is that I was at Morrison & Forster, which was my law firm, in the Supreme Court and appellate group. One of the partners at Morrison & Forster was a former federal judge who wanted to make this argument and who said, I have former federal judges who are friends of mine who would like to join with me to make this argument. So I worked with her, the partner at my firm, who was a former federal judge, to make...
So it was her idea to get former judges to write this,
yes.
not yours?
Yes.
And you just helped in the implementation of that idea?
So, Senator, as a member of the Supreme Court and appellate group in a law firm, that is the practice.
Right. Now I'm asking
amicus practice, yes.
It wasn't your idea, it was somebody else?
Yes.
Okay. So now, there are people still held at Gitmo today. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. What system is in place regarding their future?
I am not aware of the system right now. I'm not sure exactly what you mean.
Let me tell you what it is.
Yes.
There's a periodic review process made up of an interagency where they go through the files of these folks and they determine whether or not they still present a threat to the United States or the world at large. And I think it's 6 months, maybe a year. But that goes on at least on an annual basis. And if there's a determination that this person still represents a threat to the United States, they're continued to be confined. That's the way the system works. Are you okay with that?
As a policy matter, Senator, I'm not speaking to my views. That's my understanding is that the periodic review system is an executive branch determination of whether or not they're going to continue to hold people that they.
Does that make sense to you as a way to deal with these detainees?
Senator, I'm not in a position to speak to the policy or the discretion of the executive branch regarding how they're going to handle detainees.
The reason I mention it is because in one of the briefs you argued that the executive branch doesn't have that option. That if you had had your way, the executive branch could not do periodic reviews about the danger the detainee presents to the United States. They would have to make a decision of trying them or releasing them. Is that not accurate?
Respectfully, Senator, it was not my argument.
Really?
I was filing an amicus brief on behalf of clients, including the Rutherford Institute, the Cato Institute, and the Constitution Project, who...
When you sign on to a brief, does it not become your argument?
It does not, Senator. If you are an attorney and you are representing a client in amicus...
Is that your position when you were in private practice? I mean, you sign on to this brief making this argument, but you say it's not your position. I mean, why would you do that if it's not your position? Why would you take a client that has a position like that? Now, this is voluntary. Nobody's making you do this.
Oh, Senator, I would refer you to the same sorts of statements that Chief Justice Roberts made when he came before the committee, which is that lawyers represent clients.
I get that. I'm not holding the client's views against you. The people you represent at Gitmo, they deserve representation. But this is a amicus brief where you and other people try to persuade the court to change policy. The policy I described is a periodic review. If the court had taken the position argued in the brief that you signed upon, we'd have to release these people or try them, and some of them, the evidence we can't disclose because it's classified, you're putting America in an untenable position. This is not the way you fight a war. If you tried to do this in World War II, they'd run you out of town. We hold enemy combatants as long as they're a threat. There's no magic passage of time that you got to let them go. So my question is very simple. Do you support the idea, did you support then the idea that indefinite detention of an enemy combatant is unlawful?
Respectfully, Senator, when you are an attorney and you have clients who come to you, whether they pay or not, you represent their positions before the court.